This comment says white people are experiencing racism. Ha 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 ha. I know that this comment is meant to ridicule me, but I don't mind sharing my position for the rest of the world. When it comes down to discourse of dialogues, I think it's really important for everybody, no matter their political background, to engage in conversation about difficult issues. And not every single time we have conversations that we're going to agree on every single last point. But for the spirit of hard conversation, I'll share my position on why I think that white people in this country are experiencing systemic racism. My first primary reference is about Harvard University. It says right here that racial preferences massively boost black and Hispanic applicants. It says right here the paper, as part of a series of studies conducted in the wake of high profile against Harvard University and the University of North Carolina, shows that Hispanic and African American applicants to both colleges enjoy substantial advantages relative to white and Asian Americans. The major issue for the whole entire case for Harvard University was the fact that they added points and deducted points based upon your race. So if a person was actually black, they would actually add points to that black person. If somebody was white, they would reduce points. And if somebody was Asian, they would also again reduce the points based upon their racial background. My secondary source comes directly from this article that talks about how companies are using the policies of diversity, equity, and inclusion to discriminate white people based largely on their race. It says right here that corporate America promised to hire a lot more people of color. It actually did. The year after Black Lives Matter protests, the S&P 100 added more than 300,000 jobs. 94% went to people of color. It continues to say that the overall job group included 20,524 white workers. The others 302,570 jobs, or 94% of the headcount increase, went to people of color. It continues to say that people of color make up a minority of the United States population and in most cases are underrepresented at big U.S. companies. In 2021, Hispanic, Asian, and black people made a vast majority of the added workers, a trend that analysts say is necessary to overcome their historic underrepresentation. The problem with this mindset is that it assumes that minorities, be it black or Asian or whatever, cannot possibly achieve anything in life without their own personal choice in the matter. Businesses should run on the idea of equality of opportunity, meaning that anybody, no matter their race or their sex or sexual orientation or whatever, should be able to have the same chance and opportunity to have a job like anybody else. It doesn't necessarily matter if somebody came from a class that's actually like a low class or a high class or a rich class. Although we have different financial differences or maybe some sort of historical backgrounds, there are differences or whatever kind of differences that we have, anybody, if they put their mind to it and work really hard, can achieve whatever they want to. And when we have this sort of loser mindset where I cannot do anything because I'm black, you're setting yourself back to find some sort of success. Why should any race suffer consequences because you yourself did not choose to do whatever kind of outcome you want in your life to make it to that goal? My second to last example comes directly from the White House.
We have always fought for equality, but now we are also talking much more rightly about equity, understanding that we must be clear-eyed about the fact that, yes, we want everyone to get an equal amount. That sounds right, but not everyone starts out from the same place. Some people start out on first base, some people start out on third base. And if the goal is truly about equality, It has to be about a goal of saying everybody should end up in the same place. And since we didn't start in the same place, some folks might need more.
When they use the word equity, what they mean is equality of outcome. The claim is that nobody start on the same footing, so therefore everybody must be equal footing. And that's practically impossible to enforce because not everybody is going to work the same hours. Not everybody is going to be like a full-time worker or a part-time worker or have the exact same interests and careers. In the book, How to Be Anti-Racist, Ibram X. Kendi wrote this down. If a racial discrimination is defined as treating, considering, or making a distinction in favor or against an individual based upon a person's race, then racial discrimination is not inherently racist. The defining question is whether the discrimination is creating equity or inequity. If discrimination is creating equity, then it's anti-racist. If discrimination is creating inequity, then it's racist. The only remedy to racist discrimination is anti-racist discrimination. The only remedy to past discrimination is present discrimination. The only remedy to present discrimination is future discrimination. So because white people did stuff in the past, we need to punish them. By the way, he is actually advocating for an anti-racist constitutional amendment, and he says that he wants to fix the original sin of racism. Talk about religious. My final example comes directly from this video.
I help run an indie game dev collective in New York City, and we have a diversity problem. Specifically, we have a problem with there not being enough women in the space. Currently, we have about 40-some full-time members, and of those, 7 are women. The joke for the longest time was that we have more Johns than we have women, and then I did the count, and actually we have 9 Johns and 7 women.
This person is the person in the video, and I'm not going to try to attempt to pronounce their Chinese name. But you guys can clearly see that she's saying that we have too much males in the gaming space and we need to actually have more females instead of males there. Based upon these examples, systemic racism against white people does in fact exist.